A warm hello and welcome to our conference from Cottbus in Brandenburg in Germany. My name is Lilian Bernhard-Senft, and on behalf of not just the LowTEMP project partnership, but also on behalf of our chair of urban technical infrastructure at BTU Cottbus-Senftenberg, I am very happy to give you a little insight into the pilot energy strategies we have developed during the LowTEMP project for municipalities to become energy efficient. And before we jump into the specific strategies we have developed, we will have a look at what are actually pilot energy strategies, who needs such kind of strategies, and how can those strategies we have developed for certain municipalities benefit others. What we, the LowTEMP partnership, understand with pilot energy strategies is that these strategies are transferable approaches and guidelines for stakeholders to create achievable energy concepts. This is the main definition. And these strategies are full with information. First of all, they provide plans and strategic approaches for tackling current problems and identifying potentials in existing district heating systems. Second, they provide specific guiding on how to establish or integrate low temperature district heating in new and existing district heating systems. Third, they complement already existing strategies or plans, but on an informal basis. And last but not least, and what was very important for us, they do not represent the one and only solution, but many different options that are possible and feasible. Why do we need such strategies? Well, at the end, we think that these strategies are one of many components that help promote sustainable energy systems and smart thermal grids, such as low temperature district heating grids, in the Baltic Sea region municipalities, and in a long-term perspective, of course, to reach our climate goals. Who needs and who develops such strategies? Well, after our LowTEMP project, we addressed municipalities, local politicians, and city councils who should play the key role in developing such strategies. But there are also utility companies, housing companies, and private owners who should definitely be involved in the developing process. Besides that, there are further interest groups such as experts in construction and technology, financial institutions, and of course the consumers and users of those district heating systems. And all of them should be involved in this process as well. As already mentioned, in LowTEMP, we have developed pilot energy strategies for specific municipalities and regions. So you might think, how does this benefit others? And this is a very good point. For us, it was important that these strategies give also guidance for others on how to establish own pilot energy strategies. Every strategy is based on a methodology which our partners from Riga University developed. And our partner municipalities use this methodology to develop their own pilot energy strategies in cooperation with the LowTEMP partnership. And this process is made visible and transparent in the pilot energy strategies, which therefore function as a showcase for other municipalities. After all this background information, let's have a look at the strategies we have developed during our project. As you can see on the right side of the slide, there is a map which shows different locations in the Baltic Sea region. And the ones highlighted with a pink circle are the municipalities for which pilot energy strategies were developed. And these municipalities are Gulbene in Latvia, Ilmajoki in Finland, and Tartu in Estonia. And today I would like to show you the strategies for Gulbene and Ilmajoki especially. When we began our work in LowTEMP and sat down with the partners from Gulbene, we recognized that in many parishes of the region, district heating was already established, but there was no low temperature district heating. So that is why Gulbene municipality had one major goal, namely to improve the already existing district heating and district cooling systems in order to achieve maximum energy efficiency. And low temperature district heating can be one solution to reach this goal. So the strategy should define the main directions Gulbene region has to follow in order to transition to low temperature district heating. And for this, specific technical district heating solutions for 6 parishes and Gulbene city were created and described in the strategy you see on the right side. But before we could start our work, of course, we had to analyze the framework conditions much deeper. And during this analysis, we saw that there are already a lot of biomass-driven heat generators, such as boilers and CHP plants driven by wood chips, wood, pellets, etc. The next thing we recognized was that not all parishes have district heating systems, but individual heating systems in use. The next thing that was that there were monitoring systems which were already established. The systems themselves had to be improved to monitor, for example, fuel consumption, produced heat supplied to consumers. And this monitoring system has to be improved to get more knowledge on the operation of the systems. The next thing we recognized was that the connection of new heat consumers would not be as easy as we thought at the beginning, because a lot of people have prejudices due to the high initial investment costs they have to do at the beginning of this transition. And these are just a few things we found out during our analysis, but besides that, we monitored one pilot project that was realized in Gulbene region during the project duration, namely the pilot testing measure in Belava region. I don't want to tell you too much because my project partner, Francesco Romagnoli, will tell you more about this later. But there, an existing DH system was reconstructed in 2018, and the grid was rebuilt and optimized. A new pellet boiler was installed in order to get more heat consumers and to increase the heat consumption. And during this project, the importance of monitoring was very present because the partners in Gulbene found out that the internal heating system of the buildings have an overall influence on the performance of the DH system. This might be obvious to many of you, but this was the biggest influence they have found out. And at the end, low temperature district heating led to a balanced indoor room temperature during the heating season in all monitored buildings. Based on the analysis and the monitoring and many other things that were investigated in the pilot energy strategy, we defined the following recommendations for Gulbene region in order to increase energy efficiency by increasing the share of 4th generation low temperature district heating systems. First, to lower grid temperature. Second, to implement renewable energy sources and the corresponding technology, such as biomass and photovoltaic panels. You have to know that Gulbene region is full of forests and biomass is available there a lot. Third, and what we have seen in some of the parishes, surplus heat from the local industrial sector is available, and this can be and should be used for district heating as well. At the end, we have seen that the developments in Gulbene region regarding low temperature district heating exceed the average developments that have been done so far in Latvia. Information campaigns are really, really necessary, as we have seen some slides before, to encourage the people living there to become district heating consumers. What we can also say is that Gulbene region consists of many small parishes, and the process of implementing low temperature district heating will take a lot of time because there are so many small district heating grids. And all of this speaks for the need of a strategic plan, especially at the end user side, when it comes to retrofitting measure of buildings and the modernization of the internal heating systems. Okay, so that was Skåne municipality, and now I would like to make a big jump with you from Latvia to Finland, namely to Ilmajoki. Ilmajoki stated at the beginning of the project that they want to implement low temperature district heating systems. In order to do so, the already existing district heating systems have to be improved to achieve maximum energy efficiency. The main issue in this region is the low settlement density, which we will see on the next slide. As in Skåne, and on the basis of the aims in Ilmajoki, the pilot energy strategy should define the main directions of the upcoming district heating developments and show specific technical district heating solutions, while considering surplus heat, which can be taken from the neighboring community Kurica. As mentioned on the slide before, we face one major issue in Ilmajoki, namely the sparsely populated region. In Ilmajoki, we have around 40 inhabitants per square kilometer, but the Finnish average is around 19 inhabitants per square kilometer. Just to remember, in Germany, we have an average around 233 inhabitants per square kilometer, and in Poland, around 124 inhabitants per square kilometer. So this is a very low settlement density in Ilmajoki. Besides that, we have found out during the analysis, the building sector in Finland needs a lot of energy, namely 40% of the total energy demand of the country. The regional district heating market share amounts to around 33%, which is lower than the national share of 51%. About 60% of district heating demand is produced in decentralized heat-only boilers. And these boilers are driven by, most of the cases, by wood chips and peat. Based on the analysis and many other things that were investigated in the pilot energy strategy, we defined the following recommendations for Ilmajoki in order to increase energy efficiency under the challenge of a low settlement density. First of all, lowering the grid temperatures. Second, replacing peat by integrating alternative energy sources, such as surplus heat from Kurica, for example, or from somewhere else, or integrating heat pumps. And last but not least, improving the energy performance of the buildings in Ilmajoki. When reducing the grid temperature, we suggest to eliminate any deficiencies in generation and distribution, but also to improve the monitoring part of the system by integrating new technical solutions such as IoT, otherwise known as Internet of Things. The integration of surplus heat can happen through the cooperation with Koskenkorva, where heat can be taken as a main energy source and be utilized with the help of heat pumps. As in Skåne region, Ilmajoki and the surroundings are full with forests, and due to this biomass, especially wood chips and pellets, biomass is still another energy source alternative for peat. And just like with Skåne, improving the energy performance of buildings is very important in order to increase the share of low temperature district heating. And in Ilmajoki, this goes hand in hand with Finland's housing policy, and this is very helpful for the developments in Ilmajoki. At the end of this very exciting project, we can say that with these developed pilot energy strategies, we definitely help with the promotion of low temperature district heating in the specific regions. But we also created transferable approaches for other regions in the Baltic Sea region. And we hope that we not just assist, but also inspire them to develop their own strategies, especially with all the background material that was created within this work, such as the methodology I just mentioned before. And I assume that I was pretty quick with this presentation, but that was it from my side. I hope I could give you a little insight into our work on pilot energy strategies. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask here. And if there are any questions occurring after this conference, feel free to contact us at our university. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.